Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Balancitos for LD29, again with the theme of Beneath the Surface. This is by developer Nick Zangus and will involve basically holding a bunch of cute little jelly bean people on an island as it sort of precariously tips in many different directions. We want to try and make sure that it stays upright for them as long as possible. You're probably wondering, why am I stuck on the reset button right now? Well, there's no real title screen or anything. The game was developed in 48 hours, so, you know, give the guy a break. Yeah, this is really the only spot that I could be that wouldn't involve me being involved in a run of this game, so I just wanted to open us up there. Really great presentation and really charming, you know, basically everything. The music, the graphics, the style to it. Anyway, let's just do a run, see how it goes. And here's our island, and what we have right here is a bunch of weights that we can raise and lower, as well as a wheel at the bottom that we need to use to spin the island around and try and make sure things don't tip too far in the wrong direction. And that actually should have, yeah, it did kill us. Alright, so all of these little people on the island we want to protect. We want to make sure that they always have a nice home to go back to and that their island stays afloat. It's a very precarious island. I'm not entirely sure what makes this island exist in the first place, because honestly, whoever set it up, well, if you didn't have a system in place for managing the ballast of this thing, well, it's doomed to fail in the first place. But I'm going to do my best to help these poor guys out, because they're pretty adorable, and they just want to go about their lives and do things and see things, and everything just keeps trying to take them down, and you can't really shift the weights too quickly, or you're going to end up in trouble anyway. Alright, let's raise... Oh, it's tough. Sometimes you're not really ready for things to happen all of a sudden, and, you know, the people just float to the surface as they all drown. It's a really dismal outlook for such a cheerful game, I have to be honest with you. It's a very high-spirited, happy little game, and then you're just drowning an entire town full of people. It's just, nobody wants to really do that. But sometimes it happens as a result of our misactions. But I want to say, you know, the graphical style, I said already, it's adorable, but it's also very detailed in a way. I mean, the surface of the water, all of the little denizens of this town, they all seem to have their own kind of physics to them. Everything seems to be acting on its own behalf, and although we never get to really zoom in and see the detail up close, it's kind of neat to know that it's there, if that makes any sense. Plus, like, the wheel at the bottom of the screen and all of the little components that make things up. You know, the round shape of these weights, the fact that the strings actually seem to operate like strings and the weights seem to carry their weight properly, all of that stuff adds up to being rather meticulous and well done, and I do appreciate the attention to detail, because you don't see it all that often, especially in a game made in 48 hours, right? I think that's pretty reasonable to say. I kind of want to just take the time to be able to look at what the people on the island are actually doing, but everything goes by so fast, I just never have time. And unfortunately, there isn't really anything in the way of, like, you know, a score or a leaderboard or anything like a title screen really set up. But again, LD game designed in a very short time. I just really like the concept of this, and I like the execution as well. I just wish there was more to it. I wish there was more to see. I wish we could get involved more with the people on the island. I'd like to go learn a little bit more about them and why they want to move from one place to another all of a sudden and cause so much grief for me. Because they are actually the reason why this island keeps shifting, if you notice. You know, they're walking from, you know, the north side to the east side or the west side, whatever you want to say. And because they keep doing that, that's what causes the Waits Island to shift. And it's a cool premise. It's something I haven't ever seen done before. And it will, oh, alright, apparently, I don't know what I did wrong there. It seemed like I was doing fine, actually. They just decided all of a sudden that was going to be the end of that. It almost seems like it would be worth doing just to, like, really instill a sense of dread in the, you know, the user's heart, that maybe when we fail a run that the camera would, like, zoom into the faces of a bunch of the people that are, like, floating on the top of the water. That's, like, too dark, though, isn't it? I don't think we want to actually crush people's spirits. It's a lighthearted game, and we're just gonna kind of pretend that they're jelly beans or something and that they're floating to the surface, but they're not actually dying because they're not actually alive or something like that. I don't know. They have such a cute little town, though. Can you imagine, what if this was like a giant country or something, and there were like people migrating from state to state? I'm just imagining like the United States, and we have some way to very quickly and efficiently adjust the ballast underneath the entire United States, but it wasn't attached to, like, anything other than itself. It's just, like, its own entity, like we'd like to believe it is as Americans, I suppose. And, you know, as people start moving around to various states because of, you know, political influence and factors, like, you know, marijuana laws changed in this state, or, like, gay marriage is legalized in this state, and then people start moving around, and then the entire United States starts shifting, and then we have to keep adjusting things. Like, I kind of want there to be more of a reason why the people are moving from one place to another, I guess. Not that it really matters or anything, it's just it's sort of a nice framework, just to have some graphics for what's even going on, because really, I think the charm is what sells this idea more than even the execution, although the execution is fine as well. You know, having to manage not only whatever the weights are that you can see at one time, and I guess if you position it like this, you can see all four, but it just becomes more about really just understanding what's going on, following where the dudes are going, and then trying to adjust things after that. And, you know, the weights do actually stay where you put them, which is nice. They make reasonable sense, but it's just the island starts tipping so quickly. It's really hard sometimes to compensate. And then you also get this kind of a nice feeling like you're doing a captain's wheel at the bottom, because sometimes you want to spin it and very quickly jump back to the weights again to adjust them back and forth, and I guess that has a really nice tactile feeling to it. This also seems like the type of game that if it's possible, it might be kind of neat to have, like, force feedback, that maybe, like, the one in the far away part is the one that's breaking, or I don't know if that even makes sense. Like, I don't know if you can do stereo positional force feedback like that and still have it work, but it would be neat to feel it, actually, like, feel the weight of the people moving around the controller. Maybe with something more granular, that might be possible, but just sort of a pipe dream, I guess, that could work. And this is not going to end well. But yeah, if they added something like an leaderboard, online leaderboards, and like just stat tracking or something like that, whether that be for some arbitrary points number or for just the amount of time that you're able to keep them alive, I think that could be really cool. And maybe, you know, add some scaling in where the game starts really simple because the water is super calm, and then later on some small waves start showing up, and maybe, you know, a whale or something might brush into the island and throw things off, or a thunderstorm comes through. I could imagine like a million different events that could change the way things all work in this game, and I think that's really fun. And I think it's neat to imagine those types of things and how this sort of an idea could expand out into the future. As it is right now, it's very simple. There's not a lot to see or do. As you've seen, I've played the game, you know, about a dozen times already, and it's a cool idea. It's just a fun little simple exercise in weight management, if that makes sense. It's a physics-based weight management sim game about protecting an island of people from themselves. Like, if they could all just agree, just don't go to one side of the island at the same time, I think everyone would have a much better time. But instead, well, the whole island sunk. I don't even understand, to be perfectly honest, why the island even sinks. Like, it's not like it takes on water, unless maybe the inside of it is hollow and then it just fills up and then weights it down. I don't know. These are not questions for me to answer. I'm not a physicist, and that's just fine. I'm an indie impressionist. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed our look at Balancitos. Go ahead and check it out. Link's going to be right in the description if you'd like to play it. It is totally free. Of course, you can check out some of my other information if you want to follow me on various social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, or even check me out on twitch.tv. I do have a channel for that, and I stream indie games on occasion as well as some other stuff. Feel free to visit me over there. And then, of course, come back again tomorrow. New episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day, so I look forward to possibly seeing you back for another one tomorrow. Maybe make it part of your daily routine if you'd like to learn about a new indie game every single day. Try to look for the ones that are a little bit more artistic, original, or off the beaten path, so you know, could be a nice supplement to your video game education, whether that be through finding out about games or maybe just talking about development or something like that. So I look forward to seeing you again for another one. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, consider leaving a like, and I will see you again tomorrow. Have a lovely night, everybody. Talk to you later.